Hello there, and welcome again to this channel where we are going to analyze yet another RTT. This weekend I played another local tournament with my tyranids again. And yeah, same as last time, we're going to take a look at the games, we're going to take a look at the list, and of course we're going to focus on the tactical keys and the what did we learn about these games and how can we use them to become a better player. All right. So let's begin as always with a tournament setup, and this time it was much simpler because it was just an individual RTT and it was 12 players and we were playing of course 3 rounds during a single day. This time we were using GW scoring, which means of course from 0 to 100 points, and there's you only tie if you actually time points, not like in WTC. So, and this is done so of course there are less ties and the winner can be more easily decided. Maybe to highlight from this tournament, it was I think something similar to what's happening in other tournaments. There was a lot of variety, so we saw a handful of different armies out of 12. I think the only one that was repeated was in fact Tyranids. Another guy was playing the subterranean assault. So yeah, it was great to see that you can bring basically anything that you want right now into a game and have very good chances to win. It's as I tend to say, it's a very much skill-based game. Like you can bring whatever as long as it is of course more or less competitive, and you can have a great time and be a contender to win the tournament. All right, so let's take a look then at the list that I brought, and this time I forgot to actually take some pictures. Just one, to be fair. In the heat of the battle, you forget about doing these things. So you can see my little box here in green. And I brought the same list as in the last tournament. I didn't have much time to paint. We will see later that I'm looking to do some changes, some switches. But yeah, for the time being, it is the same list as in the last tournament. So to quickly recap, I've got Hive Tyrant and the Neuro Tyrant to provide some synapse, some support between the Assault Aura for the monsters, the Lethals, and the Neuro Tyrant, of course, a nice Overwatch threat. Now that it seems like Eldar are back in the menu, having a nice Flamer is always nice. And also for the bonus in the Shadowing the Warp. If you want to play the controlling game and you want to outscore your opponent, having that -1 in the Shadowing the Warp check is very useful. Then we have some Brutler with Gene Stealers as a big damage brick that you can throw at the biggest or baddest thing that your opponent has and have nice hopes to destroy it. Although we will see that this tournament, spoiler alert, they did not perform super well. We have a very big scoring setup, let's say, with 2 units of 10 gargoyles. They're always useful to both move block and deny primary, and 3 lictors, which I love to use in the midboard and leave one in reserves. So you can maybe catch somebody off guard because it's very hard to screen them because of their single base and with their free rapid ingress. We have our friend, the non-emissary, with the ability to hold one objective for most of the game. And we have some damage dealers, our exocrines and our Tyranofexes. The former are there to kill elite units, and the Tyranofex are there to try to deal with tanks as best as we can. We have 5 Raveners as a deep strike threat. They can up it downy, so you can keep them in your backfield to screening out, and once that the field is a little bit more safe or more open, you can send them and kill some Marines. They're great at that. And of course the Biowar. So that's a list, again, the same as in the other tournament, no changes. I really want to give lists enough room for myself to practice before I switch. Don't want to change them too much, otherwise it's kind of hard to tell what's working and what's not. So at least a couple of tournaments I like to keep the same list. Okay, then that's the list. So let's dive into the games and see how we did and what we can learn from them. The first game was, as you could see in the picture, against Imperial Knights. It's a tough opponent for Tyranids. His list was pretty simple, so he was bringing 2 Immolators, which are, flamer tanks, which is very bad for gargoyles. It means that I cannot send my Gene Stealers, my gargoyles into the midboard, or even my Lictor sometimes without being afraid of being overwatched. So yeah, already starting strong for him. He had also 2 squads of sisters for some scoring and warding his backfield objective, and then 4 big knights. And it was a big change from the last tournament, in which my opponent had a lot of army girls. In this case, he had 3 shooting big knights and the lancer, which you tend to see in every list because it's so good with its 4-up invulnerable save and huge melee damage. He was playing this detachment gateward lance, which gives knights a lot of speed. I think by default it gives them like 3 extra inches or something like that, and then you have a strat or a buff that you can even extend their movement even farther. So that means that the lancer is going to be in my ranks very fast, and that the shooting knights can get lines basically anywhere that they want. And I was not only against a very hard army for me, but I was also in a very hard mission for me, because first round was push to foe, which means that holding objectives is not that important, but you need to be killing things, and you need to be killing more units than the enemy, and that's very tough to do when your opponent only has 8 units and you have, like it's my case, I think 16. So right off the bat, I was in a very clear disadvantage. So I knew that I was in for a hard game. So how did I try to face this matchup or to think or to strategize against such a disadvantage? So the first thing that I need to think about is trying to outscore on secondaries. He has so little units. It's true that shooting knights can do actions while shooting. So if he draws cleanse, things like that, he's going to be okay. But for the most part, he cannot score a lot of missions, like behind enemy lines. Sabotage in my deployment zone is impossible. I don't know, establish locus is very difficult for him, or maybe not worth it in the middle. So I need to maybe try to hold on in primary and then outscore him with secondaries. And for primary, it's going to be impossible that I score or kill more, basically. I mean, I can try to kill the sisters, I can kill the immolators, I can kill maybe 1 or 2 knights tops. But my goal is going to be try to get kill 1 per run, get hold 1 per run, and avoid him getting hold more, because I think for me holding more is very difficult, especially in this map. As you can see, this middle objective is extremely open, so it's going to be impossible for both of us to hold it most of the time, for me especially, because my units are not that tanky. But I need to avoid him getting hold more when he goes out, because that otherwise he will just score max primary while I score like 20 points and I'm doomed. So that was the plan. As you can see, the map is GW4, I believe this is, and it's very open, but it has this nice, very safe expansion. Maybe I need to use a different color like this one. Let me try, yeah. This very safe expansion in which I can put the Norn, and it's very hard that a single knight comes from this direction and kills it in 1 round. Even in 2, maybe it's hard for him, because there's basically no space for him to charge through if I position the Norn correctly. So this is kind of my saving grace. I will always hold this objective. So then I have to try to kill his pick off, let's say these sisters, these immolators, maybe 1 knight at least. I think if I don't pick off 1 knight at least, I'm going to be in trouble. And that way try to hold in primary, and then in the meantime I can outscore him in secondaries, especially given that I can he's going to struggle to screen, so I can deep strike in his backfield and try to score a lot of missions, maybe take his home. Even though it's not important points wise, I can avoid him having hold more if I steal his home objective. So I have a pathway to victory. So damage wise it's not possible, because with my current list I don't think I can kill ever 2 knights. I mean other people might be able to, but I really struggle with knights. But there is a path to victory if I manage to score enough secondary points. All right, let's see how it went, and the answer is not so great. So first thing that I did a huge mistake, it was losing my tyranids too early. So I deployed my tyranids, I think it was here and here. So with the idea of having one shooting from this angle, another one shooting from this angle, but my opponent very smartly just pushed forward with his simulators in the second turn. I think it was in the first turn he was very cagey. So what he did is he placed the immolators in the objectives here and here. or something like that, or here. And it was very, very hard for me to contest the objectives, because if I moved the gargoyles, I would have lost them instantly to Overwatch. So then what I had to do is to show my Tyranofexes to kill the simulators, because there is no way that an exocrine kills an immolator even with lethal hits. It's very hard. And my Gene Stealers were back here ready to jump, but he was smart enough to keep his threats out of the range. So that meant that I had to go out with my Tyranofexes, and then in his shooting run he killed both of them, which was disastrous. I think one of them was killed by the Lancer with a very low movement and charge, and the other one was killed in shooting. And he put all his guns into Tyranofexes because he knew that if I lost those, I would have very little opportunities to kill his big knights, and that's exactly what happened. So once my Tyranofexes were dead, he was able to push forward in the middle, push forward in this objective, and basically, if I did not steal his home, he would have been scoring kill more and hold more all the rounds. So what I tried to do was to deep strike back here with the Lictors and with the Raveners, and then steal his home. And here I did another crucial mistake that I think lost me the game for sure. That was that I just charged with the Lictor into the sisters that he had in his home hill, and I threw the Raveners at the knight just to engage him and make him. He had the defender, I think here. I think he was outside of the objective, just to make him shoot worse, because there's no way that I kill it. But what I should have done is throw the Raveners at the sisters, and the Lictor just have him doing missions in the backfield. Why? Because the Raveners at the end, he fell back with the knight, and he was able to shoot. He had another knight here, so he was able to shoot them down. And the Lictor, which is the most important part, was not able to kill the sisters. Not only one round, which is kind of to be expected, but either in 2 rounds of combat. So what happened is that I eventually gave him the hold more, because he was holding the home with one single sister that I struggled to kill in 2 rounds. And he was holding the middle, and he was holding his expansion. So that meant that he got away with a lot of primary points. And because I lost the Tyranofexes, I wasn't able to kill any knight. So I charged I think it was not the Lancer, but another one, maybe the Castellan, with the Gene Stealers. And I was hoping to do maybe 20 wounds with a lethals on 5, something like that, or 16, something like that. But I did barely like 9. So I rolled terribly with my dev wounds. I think I did like 6 dev wounds. And he saved quite okay. And at that point, it was very clear that I was going to get tabled. But still, as you can see, the result was a 78 to 82. So in WTC scoring, that's a tie. So I'm pretty happy, to be honest, because I mean, I'm not gonna say I rolled badly, because I rolled like just below average, I'd say. With the Lictor especially, I should have sent the Raveners in hindsight. And if I had done that right, I probably would have won, because he would have not scored hold more for 2 turns, I think it was. So it would have been at least a tie. So, even with a very disadvantageous matchup, I think that if you play your army correctly, in this case it was about deep striking the back, doing missions, holding primary, killing 1 unit per turn, which I did very, very good, because I killed one sister squad in round 1, I killed 1 immolator in round 2, so I was able to pace out my kills, so I would keep getting kill 1, so 8 primary per turn, which is quite okay, because I had the Northern Emissary holding my expansion. So I think it was a good lesson that even in a bad matchup, if you apply the right strategy, you can win the game if you don't make mistakes. So yeah, I'm very well played to my opponent. By the way, he was super nice. He was a great player. He was very open about his overwatches, his reactions, everything. So thank you for an amazing game. All right, so with that loss, we went into the second round, and this time I was playing against Thousand Sons. So his list was Magnus, 4 units of Rogue Marines with 1 character on each one, 2 Forge Fiends with plasmas, 2 units of spawns, and 3 Thangors on discs. As I would find out, this is a very high damage army, and I'm saying this because it was my first game against Thousand Sons ever, and he has a lot of good flamers, which is something that I was very aware of, and good mobility. His units don't seem that quick, but he has a spell that he can use to move twice in a single phase, which means that any unit can cross them up super fast and shoot at you or charge you when you are not expecting it. Of course, you know all this in theory, but let's see how it went later. The mission was actually great for me because it was terraform and search and destroy. I think both of those are great for tyranids because you can terraform very early, very easily. You can deploy lictor here, you can deploy lictor here, and then turn one, just go here and terraform both objectives. So in terraform, you get points for having these objectives not only controlled but also terraformed, which is an action, and you can only lose them if the opponent does an action. So that's great for tyranids because you can deploy with an infiltrator, do the terraforming, and you don't lose them until the opponent overcommits to an objective, because he has to send the unit that kills your unit and the unit that does the terraforming. So let's see what my plan was for this matchup. Tactical keys for this matchup. So as I was saying, tyranids are great on terraform. So the objective here is just to, or the goal here is just to terraform the points and then trade as efficiently as possible. That means that I will put a lictor and a lictor, then I will send maybe something bigger onto this objective and something bigger onto this objective, and I will keep sending waves until, because he should not be able to terraform. If I send enough units into the objective, he will not have enough resources to do that. So I will keep scoring points in those two objectives, and in the meantime, I can maybe try to deny some time. So with the gargoyles on this objective, it's going to be hard because of his flamers. But that's the plan. He has way more damage than me, but I have very good mission, so I need to take advantage of that. And also, in theory, I should be able to damage his units because, he has a lot of power armor guys. At the end, they are like toughness 4 with 2 wounds. So I have lictors, gene stealers, exocrines, raveners. All those can kill rubric marines in theory pretty easily. So that's the plan into this game. As I say, it's my first game against Thousands, so I did not have super high expectations, but let's see how it went. Okay, so first things first, the flamers are a pain for tyranids. If you play tyranids, you know that you have a lot of fragile bodies. You cannot use your feel no pain, of course, in your movement phase. So what happened is that I was not able to use my gargoyles at all because I could not even go here and try to move and shoot, because the moment that I need line of sight to move, to shoot and then move, then I'm going to get flamed to death. So gargoyles were basically a non-factor. Also, he had basically no melee units that I could move block, and he had Magnus, which is his only melee threat, who flies. So I cannot do anything with gargoyles right off the bat. 170 points of my army are totally dead. I don't know if you can find any usefulness to gargoyles against Thousand Sons, please let me know, but I was not able to be fair. I don't know, maybe charge them into rubrics. I don't know, maybe that was the play that I did not see. Then what happened is that, of course, according to plan, I terraformed, and then on round 2, he moved, of course, some units to clear my lictor in the middle, and also to try to threaten me from this angle and from this angle. So everything was according to plan. But what happened is that I started off with very bad rolls, which swung the game way too early for my taste. So my plan was to hold the objectives on turn 2, contest the objectives on turn 3, so I could get some scoring and he would not be able to terraform. And then maybe he's able to terraform turn 4 and get the objectives turn 4, but then it's too late because I'm like up 30 points and he cannot come back. And in the meantime, I can maybe use my other units to do some missions like I always do. But what happened is that in turn 1, I saw the opportunity to charge him because he deployed some units right against the wall, and he very clearly stated that they were against the wall because he wanted the movement. So I say, okay, then let's scout the gene stealers, let's move them forward and charge. And that's exactly what I did. And I got a turn 1 charge against a unit of rubrics. And one would say, yeah, 10 gene stealers and a brother should definitely kill 5 rubrics with a character, right? Well, my dice had another plan for that, so I did not kill the unit. So I was not, more importantly, able to use the strat to move 6 inches, because my plan was to just kill 1 unit and then use the strat that you have an invasion fleet to consolidate / move 6 inches towards whenever you want. So I could kill this unit and then kind of spread the gene stealers and do a move block that would keep him tight in his deployment zone. So it was like this master plan that I had, and it went to trash because he passed, like, I don't know, I didn't do any dev wounds, which, maybe only with dev wounds I could have killed his whole unit, but I rolled like 1 or 2 out of 40 dice. It was crazy. And then he killed even 3 gene stealers in return. He made like 20, I think I forced 30 saves and he might have made like 24. Like, it was totally crazy with the immune saves that he had. And I mean, he was the first one shocked. He was like, this should not happen. But I did not kill the unit, and that cost me a lot because then his units were able to come out and start threatening me. And then what happened is that in turn 2, I went out with my T-Fexes, with my exocrines, and I put all my units in places in which they would have multiple multiple targets. So I could kill, let's say I put a Tyrannofex here and he had a unit here and a unit here, so I could kill one or the two. I had another Exocrine here, same situation. So this cross-firing, that is very good, because if you overkill a unit, then you can go on to the next one. If you don't kill it, you have a backup plan. So what happened is I had to throw all my units to kill a single unit of rubrics. So he positioned a unit here, ready to come next turn and terraform and hold the objective with flamers. So for me, that was the clearer priority to kill. And it was 6 guys, and it took 2 Exocrines and a Tyrannofex to kill them. So with just some decent rolls, maybe a single Exocrine could have killed it, but it was terrible. So what happened is that I had to expose a lot of, or I didn't have to, but I exposed a lot of units, hoping to kill at least 2 or 3 units, in the sense that, okay, maybe you can, in the crackback with 1400 points, kill 2 of my units, that's okay. But if I weaken you enough, then I'm going to overload you with threats. But what happened is, because I only killed 1 unit, he had his whole army to fire back at me. So he fired with 2 units of rubrics from these sides and killed 2 monsters. And then Magnus, to top it off, he used this double movement to come here, and he killed 1 Exocrine with a single shooting, which I think is kind of expected. And then he charged a Tyrannofex and did like 15 wounds to it. So I could not even fall back, and I fell back, but he was overwatched and died. So the story was that, I mean, of course, I'm not going to blame it on dice, because as always, you can always do more. I think that I could have used gargoyles better, because I did nothing with them, basically. Maybe I should have not been as aggressive, because I should have respected his damage more. Maybe just let him come better hidden and then go out, and then maybe try to take it slower. But yeah, this strategy certainly did not work. The Genestealer's disaster was maybe like the most defining moment, and it was in turn 1. But I saw the opportunity to charge. I think it was a great opportunity. Like, if I make that kill and I am able to spread the Genestealers and block his deployment zone, I think he's in for pain, because he does not have the speed to get into the objectives fast enough, and I'm going to run away with the score. So very clear defeat by 20 points. Again, hats off again to my opponent. He was super nice. We had a very nice conversation. He's actually a like pro player for Age of Sigmar. He told me he went to the World Cups last year. So yeah, it was amazing to play him. And he was actually trying the army for the first time, which, you know, who would have told, because he was great on it. Okay. And with this disappointing 0-2, we went into the last round. And this last round was against, well, an army that I played a lot, because one teammate of mine plays it, and it's Black Templars. And Black Templars, this time he was not playing the detachments that I used to, which is your regular Gladius Task Force, but instead he was playing Vanguard Spearhead. So this detachment, what gives you is it gives you stealth and cover if you are more than 18 inches away. So it's a nice protection for his transport. And it also gives you up and with all the infantry units, which is also great for a low mobility army like Black Templars. And for his list, it was very, very standard. So 3 units of Sword Brethren, a big brick of Assault Intercessors, a Land Raider, and Impulsor. He was maybe missing these Repulsor Executioners that you tend to see. Although for my list, Repulsor Executioners, I'd say, are easier to handle than that Land Raiders. So this was not good news at all for me. He had an Impulsor transporting another unit. He had Devastator Centurions, which are great in this detachment, and a Ballistos Dreadnought, kind of like a bare minimum of anti-tank. And so he had a lot of melee damage, of course, same as always with the Black Templars, but little shooting. And the mission was Scorched Earth on GW, I think this is GW2, sorry, and in Crucible of Battles. So, you know, a matchup that I'm actually more used to it. So we're going to see how much of a difference that makes. Okay, so what are the keys in this matchup? So as I was saying, I'm very familiar with this matchup, and I also know that the Black Templars are a great matchup for me, because they are fairly easy to move block. So if I put some gargoyles, let's see that he's going to come here and try to charge from this ruin into here. If I just put some gargoyles here, like he's stuck there, he cannot do anything. Of course, the plan has to be to kill his transport, so he has to go out here with the Land Raider, basically either here or here, because he has not much room for anything else. So I need to kill the Land Raider to make sure that he has to walk through all this way. Also, without Gladius, he does not have advance or charge, so he's going to be fairly slow. So if I kill the transports, I'm good. I'm great for the rest of the game. And of course, focus on killing his administrative units. Like if I kill his scouts, if I kill his JPIs, he's going to struggle scoring, and then I can focus on just shooting his melee units from afar. So the plan is very simple. Just stay back, maybe try to create a shooting castle here. As always, make myself very strong with an Ornn in my expansion objective. And then just, fire, fire, and fire, and fire. Just avoid melee because Black Templars are huge in melee. They have lethal hits with all his units on 5s. So he's going to kill anything that he touches. All right. And let's see how it went. Well, this game was a very big difference from the previous one. The first turns went, I'd say, quite bad for me, to be honest, because I deploy an exocrine here to try to be like a little bit cheeky, and whenever he came into his expansion, shoot him from this direction. But I miscalculated the position, and I did not play by intent, which is very important. I should have thought, yeah, I'm here covering by this ruin, but I did not. So he just was able to come here outside with the Ballistos Dread and one-shot the exocrine, which is, to be fair, very lucky. But it is what it is. I shouldn't have made that mistake of giving him the firing lane because I did not have anything to shoot at. So that was the start of the game. Turn 1, I was able to just come out with a Lictor, stay here with a Ornn. He was planting a big brick of intercessors here, so he was poking out with the Land Raider. So it was a quiet turn 1. But then when as soon as he showed his Land Raider, I was able to start shooting it down with a Tyrannosaurus from this direction, and another one from this direction. It's very hard to hide a model as big as the Land Raider. So that meant that his two big bricks of Sword Brethren with the characters had to walk towards my lines. And I was, of course, basically ignoring the middle because this was a scorched earth. So you only get 10 for primary for holding your home objective and the expansion. So that meant that, I wasn't in any rush. I'm just sitting in my objectives. I'm shooting you from afar. You have to come to me. So yeah, that went really according to plan. So I killed the Land Raider. He had to disembark. And the next turn, I called the Shadows. And this was huge because I battle shocked both units that were here. They had to walk 6 inches, and they had one of them had like a 7-inch charge here, and another one had like a 6-inch charge here. So he was already on a position which he had to go forward, but by no means they were reliable charges. And what happened is that this unit made it, but I was able to heroically intervene with the Hive Tyrant, and that meant that he had to focus it, so I would not kill it. But of course, it meant that he could not kill the other monster that he charged. I think it was a Tyrannosaurus and a Neuroturn that I had here. So he only killed the Hive Tyrant, which, it's not that big of a deal for me. And in the other side, he failed his charge, and because he was battle shocked, of course, with a -1 from the Neuro Tyrant, also an extra -1 because I had the Neuro Lictor here. It was kind of likely that he missed it. I think it was on an 8-up. So yeah, that was great battle shocking. Finally, sometimes this rule does not do anything. But yeah, this was very big because at the end he had his bricks standing in front of my guns, and this game Exocrines really did deliver because one killed a whole brick of Sword Brethren in one run of shooting. The other one I was able to charge with the Gene Stealers that I was hiding in this ruin. So yeah, the game was from that point, it was very easy for me. I killed all his damage stealers. The Nord was able to very easily hold against the brick of Assault Intercessors. They have +1 to wound and rerolls, but at the end they wound on 5s, and they are only AP1, so he was not able to kill it at all, not even close. And yeah, so then as always, I was able to come in with a Lictor, I was able to come in with the Raveners and burn this objective. So the game was kind of downhill from the moment that he failed all those charges, which, he could have made them, and I think that the game would have been much closer. But even if he killed my monsters there, I think I would still be okay. Maybe, let's not deny this game, same as I was unlucky in the first one, I was kind of lucky in this one because of this failed charge. Yep, that was a 95 to 54, which I think it's 18-2 in WTC. So yeah, very, very clear win. But again, well played to my opponent. He was great. He played by intention, had a great time. So that was this tournament. So as I was saying, I went 1-2. I had some bad matchups, especially 1,000 Suns. Maybe they are not that bad for Tyranids, but for me, didn't have any experience. So I'm not unhappy with the result. I think it was a great learning opportunity to play against Knights and be as close to victory. I think it was great for me. And then with Thousand Sons, I played against a great guy who explained a lot of rules. So, it's kind of a tutorial. So instead of watching YouTube, you go and play a game. Then for the next time, I know what the army does and I know what to do. I think it's the time that I might do some adjustments. I think that I have a little bit too much scoring, like sometimes in the games, like the ones against knights. If I had maybe instead of a lictor, I had another units of raveners, or maybe I had units of gene stealers or 5 gene stealers, I would be able to more efficiently trade, because the problem with lictor is, you look at their profiles with hitting on 2, sustain, you think that they're going to kill 5 marines, but truth is on average they don't. They kill like 3 or 2 sometimes. If you flop the dice, like it happened to me in the game against the knights, it was not able to kill the sisters, and that cost me the game. So had it been another units of raveners, or I mean, I could have made a better choice, of course, but yeah, I think I'm lacking trading a little bit, and I have a little bit too many action monkeys. So let's see what I do with the list for the next tournament. But in general, I had a great time. I think that the games were very competitive, very positive attitude from everyone. Yep, I think it was great. Congrats to the winner of the tournament, of course. It was Alex, one of the local strongest players playing Necrons. And yeah, we will see you in the next one. Thank you for watching.